win risk. Some guys are getting more, some guys are getting less.
I mean, it's definitely one of the unique challenges to college athletics. There are no caps, there are no real regulations when it comes to that. But being able to help provide education, provide opportunity. Also, for our guys, understand the importance of what they do. How they promote themselves, how they seize opportunities, and then also being selective, because ultimately, I mean, they have a chance to be able to grow as the total package. We talk about an all-inclusive approach, and yes, there are great monetary opportunities that are out there, but also you get a chance to have all the experiences with what you're doing from an education part of it, what you're doing developing as a football player, what you're doing developing as a man, and being able to set yourself up for the long term. And so I'm grateful for our administration and the investment in the educational aspect of it. And then we're still building a team, and that's one of the things that. Yes, everybody has their own entity that they get to work apart, but being able to be a part of something bigger than themselves is something that we put a lot of value in.
And certainly, we've seen at the pro level the owner who has an opinion about who should be the quarterback or who should be the starter. With the NIL stuff, and it's so important to you guys to be supported in that way. Are you worried about that influence of, hey, the quarterback got this deal, can you sit him?
I mean, ultimately, we're building a team, and that's what I'm excited about. The opportunities that are ahead, and we have great support. We have we're at such a great place, and so ultimately it's about going out every day, and our players continuing to improve, growing together, and putting the best product that we can put on the field that represents the identity of this football team and what we're all about.
Coach, I know the Duquesne game got added after the week one with LSU game and after the rest of the schedule, but just wondering, what do you think some of the advantages are of taking the part in week 0?
I'm excited about it. One, we get out there here this next week, so we're excited about fall camp beginning. Opportunity to go out there and grow and really bring this team together. And they've done an incredible job throughout the spring, the winter program, the spring, the summer. As we've been able to have additions come into the family, and then seeing the development of guys that have been here from this past year. But you'll be able to play week 0. It does accelerate the process, and it's it does also provides an opportunity to kick off the season there at Doak Campbell Stadium, and that's one of the things that our players understand how important that is, and to be able to play in front of our fan base, to be able to be on that first weekend, it's just a lot of excitement, and we know that also provides a little bit of flexibility with multiple buys here this fall, and I think it sets up well for our football team.
Looking ahead just a little bit to that week 1 game, third straight year you're going to play a Brian Kelly coach team. What were those 2 games against those Notre Dame squads like, and what are you expecting to see for that LSU?
We're excited to be on that stage again. And when you look, coming into this year, and then the national spotlight games, that's why you come to Florida State, to be a part of those games, to be able to be on that stage. And our guys are excited. We know that we know the challenges that are in front of us. Coach Kelly does an incredible job in preparing his football teams. I've been a part of even from back when I was at Arizona State, having to compete against his teams over the years, and it's always a great battle, and it's always one. I got a lot of respect for how he runs a program and the things that he does, and he's going in, transitioning into a place that they've got a lot of great athletes, and so it's going to be exciting to see that matchup, and I know we're all looking forward to it.
And then just one more for me, Jamie and Jordan were both talking about how together this team feels, the oneness, the family. Have you seen that develop throughout spring and now heading into fall?
Absolutely, and I think it's something that's critical. Really this last year, having their second full off season, to see players coaching players. I mean, that's something that it shows the buy-in, it shows the belief. I mean, it's one thing for a coach to set a standard, but when you have players that are upholding that and pushing that to each other and helping explain with the newcomers that come in, you build relationships through the work, and that investment in each other is what makes this game so great. And we're building a team, and the togetherness, the way that they are embracing the work that they have. I mean, every day is a challenge around our program. We're going to push. We're going to push guys to be the best version of them, and when you're around people that tell you what you can do, rather than allow you to believe in things that might be difficult and that you can't do, I mean, it's where you get to see that next step. And I really appreciate our players and the young men that we get to coach every day.
How do you see that going into your third season at FSU? What have you learned about coaching and recruiting in the state of Florida? And what's it kind of like being now you're kind of the elder statesman of Florida's Big Three?
I mean, I love it. I mean, it's just so many great players, so many great programs. I mean, it's an opportunity, and to be able to represent this state is it's special. And there's a tremendous tradition of great Florida players and really players from the Southeast that have played and really set such a great standard at Florida State. So it's about going to find and build the relationships with the right guys that can come and help take this program to the next level and back to that standard of what we're accustomed to, and being able to be a part of that journey is something I'm excited about. And it was an interesting start with COVID and the dead periods and all things that limited the face-to-face interaction, but trying to capitalize on all the other opportunities and building those relationships it's really been a special experience, and excited for what the future holds with it.
And you're going to see Marcus Ball every year, you're going to see Billy Napier every year. What do you expect to see from those teams under them?
I mean, a lot of respect for those coaching staffs, and those guys have great careers behind them. I don't know them, all that well, but we're excited. You get to be here, and being at Florida State, we get to play both in-state rivalry games, and it's exciting. It's why you come here. You want to have an opportunity to compete against those programs, and we're looking forward to it.
When you see the quarterback locked in and so many guys are turning out understanding expectations, how does that alter for you since
it allows you to kind of accelerate the process of installation. You get, and right now we're not learning so much of what we're going to do. We get to emphasize more of how to do it at a more efficient and consistent level, and really pushing that standard, and seeing players when they're able to go through early in a fall camp, and whether there's a mistake or whether there's something that they get to grow. The self-assessment, the self-understanding of the expectation, and how they can make it better on within them personally. I mean, that's what you like to see. And once again, it kind of goes back to that coaches or players coaching players. It really is something I'm looking forward to when we get to fall camp, and we've been able to see it throughout the course of the summer, even in the meeting rooms, out there on the field, and just the ownership in who we are going to be and what ultimately we have the chance to become by just going out there and being our best.
How do you see that togetherness making an impact on the field, paying dividends?
Well, I mean, it's ultimately this is a game of responses, and I think when you look back and you have experiences, you look back to this past season. We had to show that we were together through times of adversity, and when you're able to do that, the buy-in, the confidence, the growth, that really emerges. And it is a new age in college athletics. There are a lot of other dynamics that kind of go into building a program and a team, and that's where, when it comes down to relationship, when guys care about who they play with, who they play for, and what they represent, I believe you have a chance to do something special, and that's what we're focused on here. And we've got some great playmakers that I think are regardless of maybe outside expectations, internally our expectations are at an all-time high, and because the players believe in each other, they believe in what we're going to do and what we can accomplish, and we've had to go through the ups and downs, and to be able to showcase that response, and I like what I'm seeing. I'm sorry?
Against Duquesne, first game of the year. What do you see from that? I know that's like one of those, I don't want to call it trap games, but LSU.
Well, it's it's a team that coming in first game of the season, they have new coordinator defensively, so it's trying to get a great sense of all things from a schematic approach. But in all reality, I mean, and it's the first game, the second game, all things that you do in preparing leading up to a season, you want to have a great sense, but the ultimate focus has to be on you, and of trying to establish identity of who you're going to be, taking all of the players that we have and helping put them in the best position to go out to play at a high level, and that's going to be our focus. And we're excited about the opportunity to kick off the season at home and playing Duquesne, a team that has had success, a team that I know will come in with confidence through their work, and we're excited about the opportunity to go out there and have our first experience.
I know the goal of Jordan is obviously bulking up a bit, and that's something he accomplished in updated weight yesterday. How can that change him, and I guess what's the difference maker do you think is being for him?
It's always about just constant improvement, and that's something that I think Jordan really embraces. And the physical development, the work that he's put in, these things he's done from a nutritional aspect. I mean, it is you're seeing a collective growth from here that hits all phases of being a great quarterback, and what he does in the meeting room, how he approaches the practice field, the relationships, the leadership, the things that he's done physically to grow and develop. I mean, he's running faster, moving better, throwing more consistent. Like it is, you see all of those things being applied on a daily basis, but it's because of work, and that is the common denominator. That whatever you're willing to invest to make important will be important, and he's doing that in all phases of his game.
Mike, what's your level of confidence long term in the ACC's viability in figuring out sort of the revenue situation?
Yeah, I think it all comes down to leadership, and we have an incredible leader in Jim Phillips as commissioner, and the support, the collaboration within the conference. I mean, I'm excited about what our future is, and we've got a tremendous brand as a conference, a tremendous brand as a university and program, and so we're excited about the leadership that we have and those continued steps to push ourselves as a program at Florida State and to push ourselves within the ACC to living up to that on a daily basis. And because of that leadership, I've got tremendous confidence in what's coming.
What do you tell FSU fans and boosters who might be frustrated by the revenue situation? Like, get us into the SEC as soon as possible. That kind of thing.
For us, we focus on the moment, and like I said, we have a great support. We have great brand, a great program, and for me and our football team, it's about every day going out there to be our best, to make sure that we're making that impact. So when we step on the field, we're showing up as that best version of us. And I think that from the commissioner and even his comments this morning, there's an incredible amount of work that's being done to push our conference. And when you look at the competition, when you look at the great players, when you look at all things surrounding the ACC, I mean, we're in a really good place, and we're going to continue to take those steps as we move forward, as a conference and as a program.
Coach said they want a player-led team. There's been an evolution for this program probably seen over time. How has that evolved as younger players mature and become leaders? You guys expect?
And that was one of the things that was critical within our program. Is coming in, a few years ago, there had been so much change. And there was not the consistency and expectation. There was not, because anybody can point to 3 head coaches, but you look, there were eight coordinators in a 5-year period of time. Well, those are all different voices, different expectations, different languages, all those things. And then for the leadership, when they don't grow up within that consistency, it's hard to have that example. And for us, we've been able to build that. We've been one of the youngest teams in college football the last few years. Well, also by being able to add the right pieces and the right type of young men, whether it's at a position or within a side of ball, for them to now have the examples, for them to become the examples, to help coach each other, to help hold each other to that standard when coaches aren't around. It's because they have an understanding of the expectation, and that's what I love to see, and that's what you're not going to be a great football team, and you're not going to be a consistent football team unless you have that show up on a daily basis.
Why do you think you guys have had success with transfer portal and finding guys that elevate the program? something about the manner of how you go about dealing with those young men in that process? Or can you quick figure it out?
Well, I mean, for us, we try to, we're looking for the right fit, and it doesn't matter if it is the transfer portal. It doesn't matter if it's a junior college player or a high school player. I think we've done a great job of having variation in that. I love the freshmen that have come in within our program, guys that are raising the talent level. I mean, they absolutely fit from a foundational piece of the type of young men we want to have, and you see them making an early impact within our program. But then when you have opportunities with a potential transfer at a position that still has those same characteristics. We present the opportunity that's ahead, and I am very transparent in expectations. I tell every transfer that comes in, there's probably easier places to go and to be a part of, because this is not just going to be about ball. It's not just going to be about what they're doing out there on the field. It has to show up in the locker room. It has to show up in the community, representing this program. And I think when you look at a guy like Jermaine Johnson, I know it's an easy one to point to, but the impact Jermaine made was not just out there on the field, which he was the ACC Defensive Player of the Year. He was a first-round draft pick, a consensus All-American. All those things are great, but the impact he made, within our team and that locker room, the impact that he made within the community. I always tell people, one of the greatest experiences was draft night. I'm sitting there, and when his name gets called, and he goes to walk up to the stage, and his family, which I had no clue, they started doing the Warchant. That was special, because not only did Jermaine impact Florida State impacted Jermaine and his family, and just, he will forever be a Seminole. And I talked to his dad last week, and I mean, it's just like those, you hear the excitement of the relationship. And when you're finding transfers, when you're finding prospects to come join your program, and I want it all. And we've been able to do a really good job of identifying that, and then finding the right guys that want to be a part of that process too.
Given the loss of Jermaine,
Relevant to college football, and inside the state now, Miami appears to be investing heavily in their program. I'm curious, from afar, how much do you monitor? How much does the administration monitor just investment of a rival? Well,
I mean, there's always a constant push, at Florida State, and it's one of the things that I appreciate, because coming in, that's what this program. There's always been investment, and we're continuing to push that level in all things that we do, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for our administration. I'm grateful for our supporters, because it's not a reactive thing. From the moment I came into the program, there's been plans, there've been steps, there've been the right things in the process to get movement and to be able to be proactive. And so I'm excited about where we're going. I'm excited about a lot of things that have been done, and I'm grateful for the opportunity that we have. And I don't get so caught up on what's going on the outside. It's more just are we doing the things within the inside to be what's best for Florida State.
Given the loss of Jermaine, what are you seeing from your defense? I mean, that makes you think that despite his loss, it could be even better defense than that.
Well, I love the returning players that we have coming back. The development I've seen from them. We return close to 80% of the production, defensive production. But then you're also guys that maybe didn't serve as big of a role last year, how they've developed the competition that we have. Some of the newcomers that have joined the program that I believe are going to make a great impact. We really lost both of our defensive ends, in Jermaine and Kier, but you see a guy like Dennis Briggs, who's played a lot of football here at Florida State, and I think he's set to have a breakout year. Derek McClendon, same story. I mean, just was able to experience some success this last year, and now taking that next step and being able to bring in a guy like Jared Verse, who I think is one of the more dynamic players. Has a chance to be one of the more dynamic players in the country, and just his work ethic, his drive, coupled with some of the young guys that we have within the program that I think are now going to get to leave their mark. And we need our defense to play at a very high level, and I believe we have the right guys in place and with the right competition and depth to be able to take that step.
When you look at your offensive line room these days, is that maybe the greatest picture of physical transformation of this football team since your arrival.
Absolutely, and I love what we've been able to do there, and really it's offense and defensive line. Some of we've made a great investment in scholarships, in bringing in the right personnel, creating that competition. I love the job that we've been able to accomplish with the guys that we brought in from a high school perspective, but also some of the transfers and the experience that we have. But we've had to play a lot of young players and a lot of different combinations. But I believe that this is going to be a strength for our program moving forward, not only this year but for many years to come. As we've been able to attract those student athletes.
We've seen what Alex has done on line coach. Have you seen him adapt to the offensive coordinator role?
No, he's done a great job, and I believe in Coach Atkins. He is one of the best leaders of men that I've been around, and I think that shows up in his willingness to invest in relationship, his willingness to take time, and to be just genuinely who he is. And that's that drew me to him when I hired him and brought him to Florida State. And as we've grown in our relationship, it's that the daily experience is something that he inspires others around him to be the best version of them. And when you can bring that element to a program, I mean it's going to make an incredible impact. He's phenomenal with the schematic part of the game. He's in all those areas, but leading the offense, it takes it all. And I think he's done a great job with that.
How's Winston Wright doing in recovery?
No, doing a great job, and just his mindset, his approach, such a positive attitude. It's something that was absolutely outside of his control, and he's definitely well advanced in his rehabilitation. It's funny because I've had the conversation with our training staff and this doctors that he is literally going on his own unique path, and we're going to do everything in our power to help him on that journey to get him back as quick as possible. But he's got a special mindset. He's a special young man, and I'm just so grateful I get the opportunity to coach him, and excited to see where this journey is going to take us together.
Okay, Mike. Obviously, the moves with USC, UCLA, OU, and Texas. Do you think these mega conferences that it looks like we're headed towards is good or bad for college football overall?
Ultimately, each program's going to, put itself in a position to what they feel is best for them, and with the opportunity, I'm excited about where we are. I'm excited about what the future holds for our program, and you look at the story tradition of Florida State in the last 30 years of being in the ACC, and we're excited about where we're going. And I think when you look at the moves of others and what that entails for college football, it is a new age, and we're excited about our program, and obviously the way that we're perceived nationally, the way that we're perceived in the ACC, and the opportunities that are ahead for us to continue to grow.
I don't know if you were in there when Jim was talking, and he mentioned about he thinks it's better for college football not just to have two major conferences, and everyone needs to be in the same neighborhood, and they don't need to be in gated communities. With that all being said, what was your neighborhood like at Memphis? You guys, I understand what he's saying within the Power 5, but it's like the non-power leagues are like,
but
fighting to survive.
Ultimately, though, you look at, you bring up Memphis and that opportunity, and being there helped change lives of individuals.
Right.
We were able to attract some incredible young men that needed opportunity. And with opportunity, they were able to grow, they were able to develop, and they were able to do something that's truly special, and that will be remembered by that community, forever. And they changed the path of their futures because of that opportunity that they had. And so, I think that's something that you can get caught up in a big picture approach at times, but what makes the place special is the opportunity that's presented, and that's what makes Florida State special to me. When you look back at the history of our program, and you look at the great players, you look at the at the standard of how things were done from the leadership, from trying to make a next level impact. I mean, that's what's exciting, and we have a tremendous brand, we have tremendous supporters, but we're also going to do things that are trying to make a lifetime difference.
You guys have had a history of great defensive backs at Florida State. Where's Robinson?
I'm so excited about what Jamie brings to our defensive backfield. And last year he came in, and the first few games was primarily at the nickel position. It shows his versatility. But as Kevin Noles, a true freshman, developed and became was able to kind of take over that role, it gave us the flexibility to put JB back up as a kind of our field safety, and just his range, his physicality, the playmaking ability. I'm excited about where his potential, where it can go, but also just the growth I've seen in him. And his decision to come back, it wasn't an easy one. And and I told him when he chose to return for this senior year that I was going to push him, to be the best version in all phases, in all areas, so that as he's growing as a player, and his first team all conference last year, but as he's continuing to grow as a player, to see him grow as a leader, to see him grow as a young man, to be able to handle all situations that come his way, he's embraced that. And even seeing him this morning, I love seeing him up on that stage and just hearing his perspective. And it's something that shows up on not the most talkative individual, but his passion is really what sets him apart. And he's just a great young man.
You don't shop for suits at the same place, I noticed.
No, we got to. Hey, but back in the day, I might have had a couple that.
I've seen you.
We'll call time for a couple of opportunities on what players we get when they get to campus. But how big is it to have it for guys who are returning to be able to make money off of members like basically they've already done?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's great. I mean, because NIL, there's a lot of focus on that part, the coming in, but like you were always a constant. It's a constant process of growth, and who you are as a freshman is going to be different than who you are as a junior and a senior. And to see guys build that the right way, to see guys embrace the opportunity to be on that type of platform, and because it's a 365 day a year, you're your own entity, and making sure that you're making the right decisions. And it's one thing to say, yes, I have an opportunity to make money. It's another thing to be able to be selective on saying, well, does this take me down the path of ultimately where I want to go? And there's been guys that on our team that have been able to say no to some opportunities because it didn't fit with what they were ultimately trying to do throughout this collegiate experience. And so that's part of the education. That's part of the experience. The experience for them, and I think them taking ownership of it is important.
Mike, if you're trying to build Florida State back to contending for championships, national championships, how much do you think an expanded playoff would help that establishing Florida State back in the top?
I mean, the reality of it is, we've played in that world of being in the playoff, sure. And so the opportunity is there. We've got to go as a program and consistently perform on that stage. So whether we stay where we are or whether we go to an expanded playoff, I mean the time is now for growth. The time is now for continued development. You see programs that have had the opportunity, as we did, and where there were steps back or steps down, and now it's about establishing that and playing at that level, but seizing the opportunities that are ahead. If there is an expanded playoff, you still have to put yourself in that position, whether it's 4, whether it's 8, wherever it might go. It's about just making the most of the moment, and that's kind of our focus with it.
When you arrived at Florida State, there was a modernization that needed to happen, facility-wise, different things. There was an evolution in the program. As you sit here today, how have you seen that begin, and how much further needs to go?
No, I mean, I'm grateful for the steps that have been taken, and when you look at it, we were in need of a lot of things facility-wise, and what I appreciate is that we have an administration that we have a football-only complex that's we're breaking ground in December, and we are excited about that. And a lot of programs might see that back end, opportunity to say, well, this is what's coming. Well, we've made the investment now for our players with a new locker room, with a new weight room, and being able to make the investment now to make their experience the best it can possibly be. That's what I'm grateful for, and I'm obviously excited about the future and the things that are coming because it was needed, and it is something that we have to have as a program to ultimately compete on the level we want to compete on, but also things that are necessary for development of our players. All right, guys, thanks so much.
Thanks, Mike.
What's up, brother?
Yes, indeed.
Man, the entire time.